Luo Feng and Elder Che looked at each other from a distance. Mist Teeth God Emperor immediately returned quietly to the city, and Emperor Qing also took the Void Netherworld pupil ship back to the city. Elder Che didn't intercept them. His target, after all, was Luo Feng. Elder Che. Luo Feng looked at the other party. Elder Che was clad in a white robe, his appearance handsome, skin like crystal jade, and even a faint halo of light protected him, with an aura that was unremarkable and ordinary. I thought there was some elder who wanted to have a match with me. Elder Che said softly with a chuckle, only now do I realize it's merely a junior who has just made a breakthrough. Is this the confidence behind your disrespect? Why should I show you respect? Luo Feng looked surprised. Are you one of the 3 Hall Masters, or are you the master of the Deceit Workshop? At this moment, around the East City Gate of Yulan City, there were guards, some members of the Deceit Workshop, and some cultivators who came to observe. Even the number of cultivators watching was increasing rapidly. An elder-level confrontation. It's happening outside the East City Gate. They are going to clash. Many cultivators received the news, and they were quite excited to come and watch the battle. An elder-level confrontation in Yulan City was quite rare, and the opportunity to watch closely was even more precious. One side is Elder Che, one of the 8 Deputy Workshop Masters of the Deceit Workshop. To be a Deputy Workshop Master of the Deceit Workshop must be extraordinary. The other party is God Emperor Luo Feng, not so well known. His claim to fame is just slaying a Deceit Workshop's marauding team. It looks like he's a newly promoted elder-level strength. Elder Che has profound accumulations. The other Luo Feng's accumulations are shallow in comparison. The watching cultivators communicated their thoughts to one another through whispers. They were all within the territory of Yulan City, protected by layers upon layers of the city's defensive formations, not at all concerned about being affected by the battle, and thus could watch comfortably. Outside the East City Gate, at this moment, there were only Luo Feng and Elder Che. No other cultivator dared to step out of the East City Gate even by a single step. A new elder with such confidence. Elder Tian was not angry at all. I guess, is it because you've obtained a powerful secret treasure? Hence the full confidence. Luo Feng looked at the other party. You are too young, and your experience is too little. Elder Che shook his head gently. If you had ventured through the dark sacred realm, you would realize your little bit of chance isn't worth mentioning in the dark sacred realm. The dark sacred realm, where the strongest cultivators from countless worlds gather, is filled with dazzling talents, and there are quite a few who are qualified to receive treasures from the infinite space treasure vault worth more than 100,000 reward points. The dark sacred realm indeed gathers numerous strong cultivators. However, Elder Che, what are you in the dark sacred realm? Luo Feng looked at him. I spent a long time in the dark sacred realm, and I've made some progress, Elder Che said with a smile while looking at Luo Feng. Although I'm nothing special in the dark sacred realm, I can still teach you a lesson. Show me what you've got, Luo Feng said while looking at the other party. Elder Che casually extended a finger, and from the tip, a point of light shone. This point rapidly expanded, engulfing billions of kilometers in an instant and forming a huge formation diagram. Within the scope of the formation diagram, illusory grey birds began to generate. Before making a move, Luo Feng had already collected information about his opponent. Knowing that Elder Che had deep accumulations and was skilled in various methods. Formation diagram was one of Elder Che, his specialties. Elder Che had profound expertise in crafting formation diagrams and Taoist soldiers. Luo Feng stood there, and with a single thought, an endless blood sea surged beneath him. Simultaneously, the Zhuangking Sky Annihilation map inside his body began to operate, naturally forming a formation with the endless blood sea. Along with piercing screeches, numerous illusory grey birds dashed across the void towards Luo Feng, plunging into the endless blood sea. Whoosh! Each illusory grey bird was like a sharp sword, piercing through parts of the blood wave, then ultimately perishing engulfed and eroded by the blood wave. Your physical body method is quite interesting. It's comparable to a low-level primordial life at the late-stage Divine Emperor. Elder Che said with a laugh, yet the wholeness of the formation diagram was consolidating into a huge and terrifying grey bird. This massive grey bird posed a frightening menace, and Luo Feng also faintly felt threatened. Yo! A shrill cry that pierced the heavens followed, and the massive grey bird sped towards Luo Feng's physical body with astonishing speed. Zhuangqing's sky, a line between heaven and earth. The formation condensed into a light of life and death, immediately confronting the bird, forcibly piercing through the creature's body, making the bird become unreal and twisted. Is this all you've got? Luo Feng stood there. Elder Chair He, where's your Taoist soldier? What about your close combat techniques? Show me all your moves. A pure energy condensed Taoist soldier is indeed weaker. Elder Chair He looked at the scene. Today, I carry with me a few hundred crafted Taoist soldiers. Give them a try. With a wave of his hand, a number of wooden bird carvings flew out. These bird carvings quickly enlarged after being released. Each one's might not inferior to the massive grey bird from before. Hundreds of Taoist soldiers. Luo Feng looked on seriously, sensing the power of these bird carvings. These Taoist soldiers seemed somewhat clumsy, but their strength was quite formidable, akin to late-stage divine emperor bloodline cultivators. However, when added together by the hundreds, the outcome was terrifying. Boom, boom, boom. Under the command of the formation, the natural formation of the Taoist soldiers' battle array posed a severe threat to Luo Feng. Stronger than expected, Luo Feng thought to himself. When hundreds of massive flying creatures surged out simultaneously, it was as though a large group of low-level primordial life had launched an assault. Instinctively, Luo Feng activated the Undying Heart at the very first moment. With the Undying Heart as the core, innumerable vessels spread, rapidly extending throughout the entire endless blood sea. Luo Feng had a premonition that without relying on the Undying Heart, his undying blood sea body would suffer significant injuries under the attack of hundreds of Taoist soldiers. His own energy reserve was only a little more than 200 perfect divine body reserves. He couldn't afford to deplete it so carelessly. Booming, hundreds of massive flying creatures, coordinating with formation, merged their might into one, striking fear into the hearts of all cultivators observing from Yulan City. But suddenly, a massive blood wave, billions of kilometers tall, rose up, blocking these gigantic flying creatures like mountains. The flock of flying creatures didn't hesitate and smashed into it, shattering numerous blood waves in an instant. Yet, the might of these flying creatures was rapidly diminishing. The undying blood sea body, empowered by the Undying Heart, only increases its might by a few times, but the defense is increased by dozens of times. Even a full-force stomp from the primordial wild hoof leader only depleted 2% of my energy reserve. These Taoist soldier assaults can't harm me at all. In front of the primordial wild hoof leader, Luo Feng dared not claim to be undying, but at his own level, Luo Feng's undying was indeed fitting. Booming, the two sides clashed. Under the leadership of the formation, hundreds of Taoist soldiers either struck like raging thunder, condensed like a sword, or gathered like an axe chopping down. The might of the Taoist soldiers was indeed terrifying. How is this possible? Elder Chair He frowned. I released these Taoist soldiers, and yet they couldn't force him to use that gigantic claw. He remembered clearly that it was a giant, fuzzy claw that pinched Mist Teeth to death. In front of my Taoist soldier formation, he still has strength to spare. Elder Chair He couldn't believe it. The Taoist soldier formation was his usual method. He usually couldn't be bothered to fight personally, just casually releasing some Taoist soldiers to confront the enemy. Crack. Under the empowerment of the Undying Heart, the might of the Zhuangqing Sky Annihilation formation also greatly increased, and the endless blood sea mercilessly grinded away, finally breaking apart some of the wooden carved flying creatures. These flying creatures were each meticulously carved by Elder Chair He, integrated with formation diagrams, and forged into Taoist soldiers. More and more cultivators were observing from Yulan City, with members of various powers watching the battle. Elder Chair He's hundreds of Taoist soldiers, striking together with a formation, are actually at a disadvantage. This Luo Feng, a newly advanced elder-level existence, is so powerful. Everyone was somewhat surprised. Elder Chair He will probably have to resort to his true methods now. It looks like he's going to give it his all. The observers were all eagerly anticipating. Elder Chair He stood there, with a casual wave of his hand, and the hundreds of Taoist soldiers in the distance all flew back to him, which he then easily stowed away. No wonder you're so confident, Elder Chair He said with a smile. You've easily blocked my Taoist soldier formation. I underestimated you. Luo Feng looked at his opponent. He was very clear that in order not to allow the undying blood seed body to suffer too much depletion, he already used the undying heart in front of the Taoist soldier formation. The fundamental great Tao I've cultivated over the long years is the formation diagram path, and I've refined Taoist soldiers with the formation diagrams, said Elder He with sentiment. These Taoist soldiers have been my support as I grew from weak to strong over the endless years. But as an enlightened one, I've cultivated to the late stage Divine Emperor, but reached a bottleneck that I couldn't overcome no matter what. I realized that as I groped in the dark, I must have taken the wrong path. Elder he gazed at Luo Feng. In the dark sacred realm, I've learned the heritages of other cultivators, over 100 kinds of heritages, absorbing their essence and integrating them into myself. Double quotes. Even though I've learned many techniques, I've never been able to reach perfection. Elder he chuckled. Strictly speaking, the primordial bloodline route that I cultivated later did reach perfection. That path was the simplest. As soon as these words fell, Elder he no longer restrained himself, releasing a terrifying aura that swept across all directions. Silver secret patterns even began to emerge on the surface of his skin. Primordial bloodline at the half-primordial level. Luo Feng looked at his opponent. Luo Feng understood that once one cultivates the bloodline path, in addition to other techniques, the bloodline would contaminate one's own will. The mysteries of the bloodline could even become integrated with one's own enlightenment insights, which constituted a form of contamination of the Tao. Thus, for those of the enlightened one lineage, once the primordial life bloodline integrated into their bodies, the hope of making progress in their path of enlightenment would become slim. From then on, they would usually focus mainly on the bloodline path. As a member of the enlightened, during my time in the dark sacred realm, I exchanged my battle merit for a high-level primordial life bloodline. Elder he said to Luo Feng. With this, I integrated it into my physical body, forming the foundation of my bloodline cultivation. I explored its potential and nurtured the eternal night netherworld kite body, and for this bloodline body, I even created a set of the eternal night battle technique. Elder he stood there, with a silvery grey aura sweeping through the heavens and earth, his presence terrifying, and with an invisible will impacting those around him.